I'm Jasper, and this is my Mimi Nancy.
Hello.
And she's a survivor of two things I'm going to share. First, she's a survivor of many hurricanes, including Category 4 hurricane, Hurricane Betsy. And two, she's a survivor of a stroke. So, Mimi, this is a project I'm doing for my turkey class. We are studying survivors in the way that they are survivors. For this project, I need to interview someone who I think of as a survivor. I'd like to ask you some questions to learn more about your life.
I would love that. Thank you.
One, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a city called New Orleans in Louisiana, and it's in the south part of Louisiana, right at the Mississippi River.
Do you have any hurricanes you lived through you could tell us about?
The biggest hurricane that I remember was Hurricane Betsy, and I think it was about 1965, and it was just when I was starting high school. I was a freshman in high school. This is how Betsy went. Boop, boop, and then land here, right right at New Orleans at the bottom of Louisiana.
How many hurricanes have you survived?
I'll say Betsy, Camille, and I'm sure there were other ones that we did have to prepare for, but I don't remember. By the time Katrina came, which is the really bad one, we were already in Atlanta and it didn't affect us at all.
Did you or your family have a plan for hurricanes?
Yes, we had a plan. We filled the bathtub with water. We made sure we had some jugs of drinking water. We had canned food because there wouldn't be fresh food without electricity and no way to really cook a lot. So and if you have canned food, you better have a can opener, because a can of beans doesn't do you any good if you don't have a can opener to open it. We had ice, we had a cooler, flashlights, batteries. Some people put boards, big sheets of plywood over their windows to make sure nothing flew in and broke the glass.
Is there anyone you specifically remember preparing for Hurricane Betsy?
Yeah, my mom and dad did most of it. And the first thing you have to decide when you know a hurricane is coming is, should we leave or should we stay? Should we pack up our family and drive north somewhere, like northern Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, northern Alabama, to get away from it? Or should we stay? Do we think our house is strong enough that if all this wind and rain comes, do you think we're safe? That's the first thing my parents had to decide, and they decided to stay because our house was in the kind of the higher part of the city, and we never flooded. The lower parts of the state did, but we were so they felt pretty good about it. And then once they decided to stay, then they started preparing. I think my mom made a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I think they went to the store and they got some bread and some things that wouldn't spoil food that they could keep without electricity. My dad went outside and did a lot of things. I do remember my dad putting gas in the car. He went to the gas station and filled up the tank, because if something happened that we did have to evacuate, he wanted to make sure the car was full of gas that we could all just get in the car and start driving. He wouldn't say, gotta stop, we need gas. So my parents did a lot, and they told us to do a lot. Go find all the flashlights, go find everything that you're going to need to find if it's dark.
What emotions were you feeling during Hurricane Betsy?
Well, in the beginning, it was just excitement, like, oh, something big is happening. And then after all these preparations, then maybe you start to get a little anxious, maybe a little afraid of the unknown, what's coming. And then while it's going, while the hurricane is passing over you, it's so loud and so windy and so much rain that it's really like frightening. It's late at night, it's dark, but you don't want to go to bed because you just feel like you want to be prepared. And it's a little scary when it passes right over you, when the center of it, it's a very strong, powerful weather system. And here, you might have a windy day where it blows and then slows down and blows. But in a hurricane, once it starts, it goes and it stays, and it's windy constantly. So I would say that was fear.
I read that Betsy was the first tropical cyclone to cause more than $1 billion in damage. How did you see that damage in the areas around you?
Well, certainly on the news, on television for the next several days, there was news coverage. People went out with cameras to show some people had water in their house. Some people in a lower part of the city, they call it the lower Ninth Ward. It really is low. And like we said, water flows down, and it went down in kind of that space that was very low. And people did have water up to there, like up to here. And some people got out their boats. You couldn't drive in it. And if they wanted to go someplace, they got out their little fishing boats and went out wherever they needed to go if they wanted to go check on family members.
What was the scariest part of experiencing a hurricane?
The noise, and late at night. It was dark. Some hurricanes happened during the day. This made landfall at night.
Do you think surviving hurricanes made you stronger?
It did, because it made me realize that if you prepare and you know it's coming, you make sure you have food and water and flashlights, so if it gets dark, you have light. It made me realize that if bad times are coming, you just do the best you can to prepare, and somehow you'll get through it. It made my family stronger. There were 4 kids and mom and dad, and we all had to work together. And then we went through it, and we all woke up the next day, and we looked at each other and thought, well, we made it.
And what other ways did the hurricane affect your life?
Well, we didn't have electricity for 3 weeks, and it was hot as can be. South Louisiana and New Orleans is very hot. The temperatures in the summertime are in the 90s. And with all that rain, there was a lot of humidity in the air, and it was pretty miserable.
I know you've survived many things in your life, not just hurricanes. So now, can I ask you some questions about the stroke you recently had?
Yes, that was unexpected.
What was it like having a stroke, and what emotions did you feel?
So I went to the emergency room, and they said, well, when did this start? And I said, about 6 weeks ago, but I didn't take it very seriously. And the doctor looked at me and said, you need to take things seriously. When your body gives you a signal, you need to take it seriously. But what did I feel? At first I felt confused. I didn't understand how that could happen. And then I was a little frightened because I knew I had to have surgery. And then afterwards, it was just relief and disbelief. I just couldn't believe that happened to me.
Who comforted you when you were at the hospital?
I had 3 grandchildren who colored the most beautiful paintings. They painted these beautiful pictures for me, and it was Jasper and Felix and Stella, and it was a rainbow and a sunshine and a big sign that said, feel better soon.
What did you learn about yourself from the experience?
I learned that you get through things. You think it might be impossible, but somehow you get through it. And someone might ask you, well, oh, that sounds terrible. What will you do? I don't know. I'll know when I get there. I do know this. It will have a beginning, it will have a middle, and it will have an end. And then it's a new day. You just get through it. Just get through it. Just do the best you can and get through it.
You probably need to be really positive and strong if you want to survive a hurricane. Did you use those same traits when you survived a stroke?
I think so. You just feel secure, and you know you'll do everything you can, and somehow it'll be all right. The worst that happens, what's the worst that can happen? Your roof flies off your house. Okay, get a raincoat. You know, it'll be okay. The next morning, you'll get a roofer to come and fix your house. And so I felt that way about my stroke. I didn't know what it would be when I was finished, but I knew it would be all right. No matter what happened, even if my leg was damaged or if my arm was damaged, I knew I would figure out how to use my other arm or my other leg. I just knew it would be okay.
What advice do you have for me in my class on what it takes to survive a hurricane, a stroke, or anything hard that you have to go through, from a tough day to a town-destroying tornado? What would you tell someone to help them survive it?
Wow, that is a very good question. You find coping skills. You just find a way. You find people that will help you get through it, like my children, like my grandchildren helped me. Mr. Rogers used to say, look for the helpers.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you. You really inspire me because of your strong soul and your loving heart. And I think you'll inspire the rest of my class. Now it is time to close out the interview.
Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed visiting with you and telling you my stories. Thank you for asking. Somebody's garbage can was rolling down the street, rolling all down Causeway Boulevard, and we could see it in the rain, and it went past where we couldn't see it anymore. I have a very clear memory of that. It was just funny. We all went, oh, look, somebody's garbage can just rolling down the street.